Take our monthly look at the state of the rural real estate market. GM for PGG Wrightson Real Estate, Peter Newbold, has the honour on the country. And Peter, with all the doom and gloom going on around the world at the moment with COVID, Russia, Ukraine, how is that affecting the rural market, or is it affecting the rural market? Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jamie. To be honest, I don't think it is affecting the rural market. I think it's still strong. We've got to remember we've had a lot of pre-sales. We're coming into autumn. My feeling is that it'll remain very positive. We've got a lot of qualified buyers out there. And I would say all categories are looking positive. We've also got to remember we're coming into winter and there's always a lull. But if you look at everything going on in rural at the moment, the returns and I guess long-term returns and outlooks, I think it'll continue on. So it's very positive in all sectors, as you will have seen.
Let's talk about forestry. More importantly, perhaps pastoral land going into forestry. Are we still seeing a lot of that?
Yeah, look, and it's interesting. You know, I was sort of speaking to one of the guys up in Northland, for example. You know, four of the last six, let's call them sheep and beef properties, mainly beef up there, have gone into forestry. And, you know, another interesting one, some of your listeners may not be familiar with it, but west of Wellsford, an area called Tapora. Now, if you go back over the years, there used to be roughly around, say, 27 dairy farms operating in that area. Today, there's only 3 or 4. And they've all gone into forestry and then horticulture, you know, like avocados and the like. So there's huge change going on, not just in Northland and Tasman and like, but all areas. And, you know, as we've often spoken about before, it's probably got past the point, in my opinion. But, yeah, it's having a big impact. Those that are selling, it's positive because, of course, they're getting good value for their properties. But, yeah, big impact, Jamie.
Has our old mate Stan Robb sold any more kiwi fruit orchards in the Bay of Plenty for $2 million per canopy hectare?
Yes, he has. He's just sold a couple this week. It's staggering, really. And the demand there is huge and, you know, the returns are positive. Outlook looks good. And you've got a lot of people who are looking to, you know, retire, succession plan. And then you've got others that are wanting to develop. So they're selling out and then redeveloping. So really strong market. And again, like, you know, sheep and beef and dairy, the outlook looks really positive.
Well, let's talk about dairy. Record prices. We've yet to see that be capitalised, if you want, into land values, as it has been with past booms.
Yeah, it's an interesting one there. I think there's a little bit of a growing momentum in that space. And I think we'll see as we come into the new year, more sales. They've been relatively strong. I think it's that point too that, you know, often there's a disconnect with those wanting to purchase and those wanting to sell. I think there's a little bit of negotiation. That'd be a way to describe it to take place in that. But yeah, look, it's looking good, and I think we'll see more activity as we come back into the spring in that sector.
Now, we've heard lots of press about residential property prices, a drop of 10% coming this year. Whether it eventuates, we'll wait and see. But that obviously will have a flow-on effect to lifestyle, the lifestyle market, which has been very strong in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I think there's sort of two parts. I think provincial New Zealand, that lifestyle market will stay strong off the back of rural. But if you go to some of those closer areas to the city, I think definitely things have slowed. But we've got to remember we've had a hell of a run over the last decade. So there's a point now where I think the market's hit the peak. And so I think we'll see prices stabilise. Yes, there may be some drops. But when you look at what people have made or the property values, how they've increased over the last 4 or 5 years, really when you look at it, a 5 or 10% drop is really not a big deal when you look at the gains they've made. I guess the only area you could say is those buyers that have bought in recent times. But if they've bought for long term, then I don't think it matters too much.
Our PGG Wrightson property of the week this week is a cracker. It's in Coldstream. And if you're wondering where Coldstream is, yeah, and I had to check it myself, but I have been there before. So as you go, if you're heading north over the Rangitata River, hang a right. It's between the State Highway 1 and the coast. Beautiful, flat, arable country. But this is arable, lamb finishing, dairy support in 5 titles. 300 hectares. The world's your oyster.
Yeah, look, it's... I think the interesting thing with properties like this, Jamie, is they don't often come to the market when you look at the size of it, 290 odd hectares, the quality of it, and where it's positioned and everything about the property. Interesting with it, it's been in that family for over 100 years. So, yeah, just one of those unique opportunities that comes along once in a while in a great location. So, yeah, one of those what you'd call unique premium properties that's come to the market.
And you can look at our property of the week on our website, thecountry.co.nz. Just click on Rural Properties. Peter Newbold, GM of PGG Wrightson Real Estate. We'll chat again in a month's time.
Yeah, cheers, Jamie, and have a good day.